Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I'm going to be reacting to and analyzing Muse performing Starlight live at Rome Olympic Stadium.
Put your hands together!
Man, that is a huge crowd.
Taking me far away from the memories of the people who care if I live or die.
Just from the first little bit, I really like that he sounds the same as he does in professionally done studio recordings. I haven't really listened to a ton of Muse in the last 10 or so years, but from what I've heard, he sounds very consistent from what I'm used to where he is right now. I like that you can hear him breathing. I like that it sounds real and authentic. And even though there are some little effects added to make sure that everything is clean, it's not deviating so much from the sound of his own voice. I think that we'll be able to get some pretty accurate reads of what he's doing. Good. And up till now, he's been spending most of his time in his upper chest area. Most guys have their first bridge at around a E flat. He has only gone up to the D so far, so everything is just approaching that bridge. But what I like about it is you can tell it's not getting heavy as he's going through this area. He's keeping in mind where he needs to go for the rest of the song, and he's preparing for it with this really well-sung intro. And then it's still open, but so he is flipping for the top. He's kind of going into more of a falsetto head voice configuration where it lightens up quite a bit. I love that he's able to bring that back down to the lower notes. So on the ho, that's on the F above his first bridge, and he's not pulling it. It's just letting it be a really easy sound. He flips for a second and then he comes back down to this easy place. I'm not hearing too much compression in his voice at this point. He also is kind of doing wider vowels at the bottom, but he's able to get away with it because he's not beefing everything up. If he was coupling this wide vowel sound with the sensation of just a huge chest voice, he'd probably be in a lot of trouble. But because he's staying light, he can go to this brighter, my life kind of place rather than having to narrow it, my life. If he started going, my life, and getting really, really heavy with it, which is very common actually, because singing loud and singing big chest voice and all of that, it's really associated with a primal need to yell. And it's kind of what everyone has. If they try to yell, they go into this big pulled chest kind of configuration, and it involves opening your mouth really wide. He doesn't have that coupled together anymore. He's able to go to this wider vowel sound so that he can get the sound that he wants without it wrecking everything else that he's doing vocally. They're such a cool arena band. I've heard that said a lot. Like, people are always like, yeah, Muse is just this great arena experience, and I never completely got it because I've never seen them. It's obvious they are meant to sing in arenas. The music that they make and the way that they interact with people is just good for large groups. Some kinds of music just need that kind of space for the production and for everything to really have room. I think that they're one of those bands that works better in this huge situation compared to an intimate situation. Most of the time I'd kind of prefer the smaller one, but there is something special about being part of this huge group of people in an audience and sharing that with one group of performers. There is something special about that, but most of the time I prefer it to be, a much smaller venue. They work well here. He's doing such a good job of not grabbing on that hold, and I think that that's where most people who would sing this song would kind of get caught up, is wanting to give too much and I just wanted to hold. That part might want to grab with a lot of people. He's been singing this a lot. He's performed this hundreds of times. He's got the muscle memory pretty well that he can do a lot of other things and not really have to worry about what his voice is going to do. But it still takes a lot of practice to get to the point that you're able to make this kind of sound without it deviating, without some of your other habits coming in and saying, no, it's time to grab here. So I think that he's most impressive just with his consistency at this point. Far away. He's kind of singing everything through that place. In pretty much any song that someone is singing, if they're going to have it be consistent, there's this concept of vowel grouping, of vowel centering, of getting all of your vowels to kind of revolve around the same place. What I'm hearing with this is everything is kind of around in this place, everything is here. So even though he's going between all of these vowels, it all has this overall sound that's pretty similar. If he had changed everything to this place to an then we'd probably get more of a never fade away, never fade away. And that's one way to start making it sound a little bit more classical. Just choosing whichever vowel everything is kind of grouped around. This more broad one, it's better for rock. It just sounds a little bit more poppy, a little bit more rocky, and it also tends to not get as heavy. Sometimes those rounder sounds tend to get a little bit too heavy, which is why there's all of these stereotypes about guys singing classical music and just getting way too heavy and not being able to bridge as they start going higher. He doesn't have any of those problems. Yeah, and his mouth isn't moving too much. Everything is just kind of staying in this really nice middle place for him. You can kind of hear when he's coming down how it's not always the smoothest because he's flipping. He's letting go of a lot of the connection that he has when he goes to hold you in my arms. And so you can kind of hear on the way back down where it re-engages. It's almost like a controlled yodel, except that he's making it gradual enough that it doesn't pop out too much. It is still pretty smooth. If he'd wanted it to be a bigger sound, or if he wanted it to be a little bit more connected on the way down, he just wouldn't let go as much when he went up to that flip place. I'm sure that he's totally capable of it. He just wants this sound to be really, really light so that it contrasts with the bigger sounds that he's making. And so having that contrast with dynamics gives the song more variety. If everything was the exact same all the way through, it would be super boring.
I just wanted to hold
When he goes to that hold, almost every time, even though it was in this kind of hold, he rounded it out on that one note. It became more of an every single time that he went through that. I just wanted to hold, where the is underneath everything rather than the eh. I just wanted to hold. It just stabilizes the sound. It makes it rounder. It makes it more resonant. It's just this nice, big, open sound. Everything that he's doing, I think, is super sustainable. There's not any point in it where I hear an excessive amount of compression or tension. Everything is just like he's opening his mouth and making these super easy sounds, which lets him do all of this crowd work and move around and jump a little bit and still have a very consistent sound underneath everything. That comes from just all of this practice. They've been gigging for a long time. They've sung the song a lot of times. He knows what he can expect from his body at any point in this song. And so we get this amazing, consistent product. I think that's kind of one of the biggest things that separates an amateur singer from a professional, is the ability to show up no matter where you are mentally or physically that day and give a consistent, reliable product that, 30,000 people are going to enjoy. That's hard. It's hard to be consistent day in, day out. A lot of people find that they're able to get certain notes just on a special day or whatever. We have to keep repeating it until it's a very reliable product. And that's how you can kind of get past the nerves of going into a performance like this, is just knowing that you can trust your body, nothing's going to really deviate from it, and if it does, accepting that that's okay. So he's awesome, they did a great job, and now I kind of want to go see Muse. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you learned something from this video, I would love for you to comment below what you learned from it. I am always interested in making these videos better and helping people figure out what they didn't know and what they now do know. So leave a comment, like, subscribe. Thank you so much.